We've got severe weather moving into Iowa right now. Tornadoes are on the ground, and we are going to be covering this probably through the evening hours out there. Let's go in for a closer look here.
Plus, David Schultz's family is asking for a second opinion tonight at 6. What questions they're still looking to answer. And 3 Iowa universities are getting rid of DEI programs, where the resources those programs use are going.
You're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
And as Brad mentioned, we have some severe weather in the state, so we want to get to that right now.
Yeah,
Brad.
very dangerous situation, Stephanie. This is a tornado on the ground out here and in Shelby County, and it is causing a tornado that's probably going to be heading into a community. Look at all these tornadoes we've had reported here through Nebraska into Iowa. These are all tornadoes confirmed on the ground, and some of them are very large and destructive. And you can see in Iowa, it's been very, very active today. And this is the one we're watching right now. It's coming into Harlan right now. This is a tornado on the ground. It's a catastrophic situation. We've got a tornado emergency for this area as that moves right toward Harlan right now. Of course, that's just outside of our viewing area, but you folks in the western part of our viewing area in Manning and these areas, Denison, you might be watching. We've got these severe storms moving in with tornado on the ground here. Further to the south, we're watching this cell, which does have a tornado warning in Clarinda. Again, these are moving off to the northeast. So if this one stays strong and possibly produces a tornado, that could definitely affect the metro. So we're looking at a couple hours from now, things will be moving closer to central Iowa. We've got supercell thunderstorms out here right now, and those will be lifting off to the northeast. And you can see by 8 o'clock, the southern edge of that could be still very severe, maybe even tornadic, and then it'll lift to the north here. Even 11 o'clock, there could be enough energy still for severe weather at 11 o'clock tonight. They're going to be scattered, so not everyone is going to see severe weather or rain tonight. Now, tomorrow it's going to quiet down. We're going to get a break from the weather, at least for a little while, because there will be more severe weather possible by Saturday, late in the afternoon, Saturday evening. Also Sunday, a slight risk of some stronger storms as well. We'll have more on this later on.
Brad, thank you so much. An important night for you to stay weather aware and keep updated on the forecast. You can do that by downloading our free We Are Iowa app. Scan the QR code that you see on your screen. If your power goes out at home, we'll still be able to give you the weather through this app. Be sure notifications are on so you get the latest to your mobile device. In developing news tonight, the family of Sac County man David Schultz says they are planning to have an independent party conduct a second autopsy. You'll remember that Schultz's remains were found in a field Wednesday after he had been missing for over 5 months. A spokesperson for the family spoke to Local 5's Megan McPherson earlier today. Megan, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Stephanie, that spokesperson tells me this is not about a lack of trust with local leaders, but rather the desire for a second opinion on David's cause of death. Jake Rowley of the volunteer group United Cajun Navy, which helped lead search efforts for David, has been supporting the Schultz family. He tells me they have not been able to find anyone in Iowa who offers private autopsy services, so he and Sarah will consider sending David's body to a forensic pathologist in Kansas City. Currently, the family is still awaiting on full autopsy results from the state medical examiner's office, including toxicology reports and the official cause of death.
It's not that we don't trust the state examiner's office. It's not that we don't trust those local officials. We just think that, just like when you go to the doctor, a second opinion is never a bad idea.
The family is also making visitation and funeral arrangements. Those plans have not been finalized, but will be made available to the public in the coming days. And Rowley also says that he'll be setting up a GoFundMe on behalf of the Schultz family and that the funds will be used to cover visitation and funeral expenses. Stephanie?
Megan, thank you. Law enforcement are still looking for leads tonight after a turkey hunter found the remains of a southern Iowa man reported missing more than 6 years ago. The Missouri State Highway Patrol identified the remains to Sebastian Tyrese Husted. Police in Centerville reported Husted missing in January of 2018. He was 18 years old at the time he went missing. Family said Husted was going to work in the town of Lineville, Missouri, but never returned home. If you have any information on this case, you are asked to call Centerville Police or the Mercer County, Missouri Sheriff's Office. Yesterday, 3 Iowa universities introduced their plans to terminate their current diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to the Board of Regents. Some of those changes include eliminating positions and shifting funding used for the programs to other priorities within the universities. Local 5's Larissa Leone breaks down the details given by each university president.
Iowa's 3 state universities are eliminating their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The University of Iowa restructured its Central Iowa office and created 2 new central divisions, one focusing on state compliance requirements and the other on accreditation requirements. The UI president told the Board of Regents it also eliminated 5 open positions, with roughly $360,000 redeployed to student success initiatives. President Barbara J. Wilson says the university intends to reimagine the current system.
What I want to emphasize in all of this is our goal is education and research and complying with the laws that we have.
Iowa State's president told the Board of Regents the university is closing its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion office in July and removing 2 filled positions and 3 vacant positions. The money for the DEI office will now go to other so-called university priorities. ISU's president says as the years have passed, she fears rural Iowa students may see Iowa State as too big and wouldn't feel like they belong, though the university says it's working on the president's concerns.
One of the first things we did was establish learning communities so that a young white man from rural Iowa could come and be in a learning community and find the place where they could belong.
As for the University of Northern Iowa, the president there says the school is taking a more holistic approach to DEI changes. UNI will eliminate its Diversity, Inclusion, Social Justice office and replace it with a Center for Civic Education with a projection of $300,000 per year devoted to that center. UNI President Mark Nook says the center will enhance civic education.
It will promote the values of free speech, civic leadership, public service, and participatory citizenship.
Before wrapping up the 2024 legislative session, legislators passed a bill banning DEI programs at universities. At this time, Governor Kim Reynolds has not signed that bill into law. Stephanie.
Attorneys for several Iowa and Iowa State athletes are suing the state, claiming the DCI sports betting investigation violated their rights and damaged their reputations. The investigation resulted in criminal charges against the athletes and loss of NCAA eligibility. Many pleaded guilty to underage gambling and paid a fine. However, 4 ISU athletes didn't agree to a plea deal and eventually had their charges dropped. It was determined that the DCI misused tracking software that detected mobile betting activity at ISU athletic facilities. 17 athletes from Iowa, 8 from Iowa State, and 1 from Ellsworth Community College are named as plaintiffs. The athletes are seeking punitive and compensatory damages as well as attorney fees. Day 2 of the Drake Relays didn't get too far before being halted by a weather delay. The first champion crowned today was Waukee in the girls' 800-meter medley relay. Valley's Emma Havinghurst came away with the title in the girls' 100-meter hurdles. Hampton Dumont Cal's Charlie Morton and Pella's Hanson King made Drake Relays history today. King is the first athlete since Tristan Wirfs to sweep the boys' shot put and discus. Morton is the first to win the girls' discus and shot put 2 years in a row since 2018.
With the primary coming up in June, we're getting to know candidates on the ballot. Local 5's Laura Bowen sat down with Jason Menke and Larry McBurney, both Democrats running for the House District 44 seat, which is centered around Urbandale. Here's a breakdown of their top 3 priorities.
Public education is a priority for both Menke and McBurney. For Menke, it's his #1 priority. He's currently on the Urbandale School Board.
We need folks who understand public education, who have sat at board tables, who have made difficult decisions.
If elected, he'd push for more funding for AEAs and schools in general. Increasing mental health support for staff and students also makes his list. Mental health is McBurney's #1 priority.
I'm a veteran. I was diagnosed with PTSD after my second deployment. I've been through our system, and it's evident that we have the last in the nation mental health care system.
If elected, he'd work to set up better telehealth in rural Iowa, which would also tie to expanding broadband access. Reproductive health care is Menke's next priority. He voiced concern over the state's OBGYN shortage.
If we can protect reproductive freedom here in Iowa, we are going to make ourselves a much more attractive place for OBGYNs and other maternity specialists.
LGBTQ rights is McBurney's second priority. He says Iowa is not welcoming for queer people.
My daughter is a member of the LGBTQ community. She's turning 18 on May 2nd. She'll graduate May 19th, and then she's leaving the state.
Laura Bowen, Local 5 News.
Menke says his number 3 priority would be protecting our seniors living in elder care facilities. McBurney's third priority would be the education system. In 2022, the federal government passed the PACT Act, which expands VA health care and benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits, to Agent Orange, and other toxic elements. VA leaders say they think this has led to an increase in enrollment. Local 5's Larissa Millis spoke with the VA Central Iowa healthcare system about what they have seen locally.
With the promise to address comprehensive toxics or PACT Act of 2022, veterans who were exposed to toxic substances during their time of service are now eligible for VA health care.
We are seeing a lot of Vietnam veterans who are affected by that. They were at one time not eligible, but now they are.
Roxanne Swanson, VA Central Iowa's enrollment eligibility manager, says this move now gives generations of toxic exposed veterans the health care they've earned and deserve.
When they do come in, they are so excited when they realize that they are eligible now, and they're like, "Oh, it's phenomenal." It's a great feeling when you can shake a veteran's hand and say, "Thank you for your service and welcome to the VA."
Nationally, in the last year, 401,006 veterans enrolled in VA healthcare, 30% more than the 307,831 enrolled the previous year. At VA Central Iowa in 2023, 806 veterans enrolled compared to 495 in 2022.
Iowans find that to be super exciting that we are getting people that actually trust us enough to come and get all their care here.
And trust is high at VA Central Iowa. The most recent patient survey results show a 91.9% trust rating.
We do know 91.9 is great, but we're always striving for 100. And so that's something that our team, we celebrate the wins, but we're always working forward to get to that goal of 100%.
Veteran Experience Coordinator Mackenzie Ball says trust and transparency are key to the overall hospital experience.
One opportunity I think we do have here at the hospital is to kind of find better ways to communicate what it is we're working on actively.
And with enrollment increasing, Ball sees an opportunity to continue providing exceptional care to veterans.
I think it reinforces that what we're doing, we're on the right path. Veterans are wanting to come and see us.
Larissa Millis, Local 5 News.
Nationally, the VA's enrollment numbers are the highest in at least 5 years and a nearly 50% increase over pandemic level enrollment in 2020. New information tonight on an effort to help overcome issues in the housing market like rising costs and regulation. Polk County Housing Fund held its annual housing symposium. The event highlighted opportunities for collaboration and policy change. The organization says many people in the metro are struggling with the cost of housing.
2 out of 3 of these households are paying more than half of their monthly income on rent. And when you pay that much of your income every month on rent, more than half, you don't have a lot of money left over for other necessities like transportation or education or just things that we can all enjoy in life.
Keynote speaker Dr. Jenny Schultz also spoke this morning on improving housing and land use policies. And we want to get you back to that severe weather that is developing in our state right now.
That's right, Stephanie. We have a very dangerous situation out here. Shelby County is heading into the Harlan area. We think that tornado did impact the community of Harlan. We don't have any visuals of that yet. We don't have any confirmation of if it hit the town or not, but it does look like it on radar. So this is a bad situation out here. Again, we're in western Iowa, west of Audubon. There's Carroll right now. And we do think this warning will be extended up into Carroll perhaps in the next few minutes. So that's why we are probably going to be staying on the air here. We've got severe weather in southwest Iowa. There was a tornado warning in Clarinda, and that is back into Page County, but now they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning here for the edge of our viewing area. So Taylor and Adams County, you now have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that could turn into a tornado warning. There's definitely some circulation with this cell. So it's being watched very carefully. And these thunderstorms generally are going to be moving off to the northeast about 35, 40 miles per hour, and they may pick up speed. So we're going to have some severe weather, it looks like, coming into central Iowa. And it may be not as bad as it was earlier. We hope not, because that was pretty bad, and it still is right now there in parts of like Shelby County. So that is a very dangerous storm right now. That's the worst thing we have on the radar, is that cell right there. We think that is a large tornado, possibly half a mile wide, maybe even bigger. It is a large tornado there in Shelby County moving off to the northeast. Now I want to show you the 10-day forecast here, and you can see the 10-day forecast. Thunderstorms will be around this weekend and then more Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not expecting a lot more severe weather. There's a slight chance tomorrow and less of a chance after that, but it is going to get cooler in your forecast. So that's the latest from here. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up on CW, but our coverage will continue online with severe weather, and we will break in as needed for severe weather as we go through the evening. Thanks for watching.